Traveler? Paimon?
H! Fancy meeting you here! We've actually been looking for you.
I'll get straight to the point. I hear you accepted a proposal from Elder Trinidad.
Oh! The, Turnfire Knight, you mean. You were still his first choice. It's just... Oh, jeez. It's not what it looks like, promise.
Chill, it's cool. I only mention it because there's something you should know. And I suspect Elder Trinidad hasn't been completely forthcoming with you. His true intention is to resolve the Mountain King problem once and for all.
Once and for all? You mean this'll be the last Turnfire Knight ever?
That's right. He wants to use you to send the Mountain King to the Night Kingdom.
To the Night Kingdom? You mean...
To his death.
Whoa, are you serious right now? You shouldn't go blurting out accusations like that. It could get you in trouble.
Too blunt? Okay. I'll phrase it more gently. There is potentially a possibility that Elder Trinidad may be hoping that during the course of the ceremony, you kill the Mountain King dead.
But that's ridiculous. He told us the Mountain King is a living symbol of your tribe's glory.
And that glory comes at a price.
Oh, that's right. The Mountain King is a living symbol of our glory, but even this glory comes at a price. Ah, yes, and Nana wasn't the first.
She likely won't be the last to lose her life either.
Still, is killing the Mountain King really the only way? It seems so extreme.
The Mountain King is a unique case when it comes to abyssal contamination. It's eaten away at him for so long that it has consumed him entirely, and the damage is irreversible. That evil power has both driven him insane and kept him alive over the centuries. So, to look at it one way, once it's completely purged from his body, the Mountain King will finally be able to rest in peace. In past ceremonies, we've only purged around half of the abyssal power. This was to strike a balance, to keep him alive, but also keep him asleep.
Trinidad didn't say anything about how much power he wanted us to purge, but he did say there were some more details to go over before the ceremony.
Then it sounds like you'll know for sure soon enough.
If he really asks us to kill the Mountain King, what should we do?
I know this must come as quite a shock, so I suggest you act like you didn't hear anything for now. Time to visit the chief after your meeting with Elder Trinidad? I'd like to make a deal with you.
What kind of deal?
One that comes at a very reasonable price. I'm sure you have plenty of other questions, but we can talk more later. Good. See you soon.
Ah, mighty Outlanders, you have returned. Did you have a good rest?
It was, pretty good, yeah.
Glad to hear it. Things are progressing very smoothly on my end. Many of the elders have heard of your heroic deeds, including the chief. They all speak very favorably of you. There are still those who insist that the ceremony should be performed by the bearer of the Malipo name. But they're just stuck in the past. We need to move with the times.
Plus, Kanish doesn't want to do it anyway.
Exactly. So, now, it's time for us to discuss the finer details of the ceremony. We covered the fire lighting part of the proceedings yesterday. The next part is the purification of the Mountain King. It's quite simple. You just need to use the sacred flame. We've done it plenty of times before, and it's always very routine. I'm sure you won't have any problems. One point I'd like to stress, though, is that you need to burn away as much of the abyssal energy as you possibly can. The more we dispel, the longer the Mountain King will remain asleep.
Asleep, huh?
Precisely. In previous years, the Flamebearer has often been unable to dispel a sufficient amount of abyssal energy. That's the only reason why we have to perform the ceremony on a regular basis. But I understand that you have a lot of experience fighting against the Abyss, and you seemed to wield the sacred flame quite effortlessly yesterday. With your help, I'm optimistic this time we can dispel all the remaining abyssal energy from the Mountain King's body, freeing us from this ever-looming threat for many years to come.
Traveler?
So this doesn't faze you at all, huh? You clearly have a lot of confidence in yourself. If that's all you really need to know, the ceremony's in 3 days. I'll come and fetch you when we're ready. In the meantime, feel free to take a look around our settlement. It would mean a lot to the elders if you got to know some of our people. And if you wouldn't mind helping them out with a few errands here and there, that would be even better.
So now we have extra errands to run? Maybe we should add a little extra to the price.
Just a humble suggestion, that's all. It will help you gain the respect of our people, and as a mighty hero, I truly believe that's what you deserve. I'll be sticking around for the next few days, so if you have any questions, you know where to find me.
Seems like Kanich was right. We should go meet up with him right away.
Huh, you're here.
Kanich, Elder Trinidad said that...
I can tell. It's written on your faces.
Is that the Traveler and Paimon? Forgive me for not being there to welcome you on your arrival. That should have been my duty as Chief.
Hello, Chief Waina.
I only heard the news from Trinidad yesterday, so I asked Kinich to invite you over for a quick chat. I believe Kinich has already filled you in, so I'll get straight to the point. Firstly, I fully endorse your appointment as flame bearers for the upcoming Turnfire Night. However, I would like to request that you take steps to ensure the Mountain King's safety. Every child of our tribe grows up hearing the tales of our heroes, from Yupanqui the Firebringer to Burkina and the Mountain King who fought against the Abyss. This is our history and our heritage, the source of our pride and the center of our faith. To kill the Mountain King would be to destroy our spirit. I would never be able to face our ancestors in the Night Kingdom. Nana's death was a great tragedy, and I do not blame Trinidad for the actions he has taken. Nevertheless, I cannot allow any harm to come to the Mountain King. The very roots of our identity are at stake. My honored guests, please give this matter your serious consideration. Perhaps there is, but despite all our attempts to contain the situation over the years, we've not found it. Right now, I should like to hear where you stand on this matter. I understand. There are still 3 days left before the ceremony. I hope they will bring you clarity.
So, Kanich, earlier you were saying that...
Let's walk and talk. I'll show you around the tribe.
That works too. Paimon needs to get some air after this. Kanich, Paimon finally understands why you turned Trinidad down. You knew what he was planning, didn't you? That's why you didn't want to be the Flamebearer this time, because it's a double-edged sword. The whole Mora thing was just a sneaky excuse.
Double-edged sword is right. But my response wasn't merely an excuse. To solve this exceptional problem, an exceptional price must be paid. I'm working on it.
Really? Well, come on then, let's hear it.
In a moment. Didn't you have a question you were about to ask me?
Oh, yeah. What was it again? Oh, right. We need to talk about Hal. He's completely unhinged.
I agree that he has a problem. He needs disciplining, so I hired him a teacher.
You got him a teacher? Oh, Paimon would love to see him get scolded for bad behavior. Anyway, moving on. When we ran into a Hal, he said you two were investigating some Abyss thing together. Is that related to the whole Mountain King situation? mission?
Yes, that's the angle I've been working on. I'm a Saurian hunter, but I occasionally hunt the Abyss too. One time I was pursuing some purple demonic dogs when I accidentally entered a hidden space. I did some research after the fact. Apparently they're known as beastly rifts, and there are many of them of all different sizes. That's where those purple dogs were coming from. So, if we can locate one of these beastly rifts, clear the monsters out, and move the Mountain King inside, he'd be able to continue living, but without posing a threat to the tribe.
Whoa, that sounds kinda crazy. Would it really work?
It's not without its risks, of course. There's a lot of unknowns in the equation. For instance, for all we know, a prolonged period inside the rift could make the Mountain King's condition worse. Still, we desperately need something like this, even just as a temporary measure. You've seen the conflict the issue is causing in our tribe for yourselves, and believe me, it's been a long time coming. The chief is adamant about keeping the Mountain King alive, whatever happens.
I can understand. It's less about the Mountain King and more about preserving your culture and heritage.
Yes, but on the flip side, you've got people like Elder Trinidad, who is more concerned about protecting the people he cares about now and into the future. And he has every right to take that view. It's one thing to try and preserve the last remnants of a glorious past, but making your kin pay the price for it? No one can seriously tell them that's a fair trade.
You're right. There's no easy answers here. Let's leave that to one side for a moment and assume we go with your plan. How do you actually intend to find one of these beastly rifts? Because at least in our experience, the dogs open the rifts when they want to attack us, not the other way around.
I think I know a way. You have any better ideas?
Not at the moment, but it just feels like using the power of the Abyss for our own ends isn't gonna end well. After all, the Abyss is what turned the Mountain King into a monster in the first place. People are gonna think you've lost your marbles.
If it doesn't end well, then that's the price we pay. Everything in the world comes at a price. Even when Yupanqui, the Firebringer, stole the Turnfire, it cost him dearly. The Mountain King's erratic outbursts have brought tensions within the tribe to a boiling point. Unless this gets resolved quickly, everyone will be stuck in a stalemate.
All right. So what's this deal you wanted to make with us? We're hardly experts on exploiting abyssal power.
All I need you to do is keep people away from me. I'm getting harassed on a daily basis by people trying to convince me to be the flame bearer. I can't afford to waste all my energy dealing with them. If you help me out, there'll be a gift for you in return.
Ooh, what kind of gift?
Something well worth your while, I'd say. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Integrate yourself with the tribespeople, so everyone comes to terms with the fact that we have a new flame bearer. That way, I won't have an endless stream of people coming to beg me to join the ceremony, and I can focus on finding a way to summon the beastly rift. Then, when the day of the ceremony comes, we'll move the Mountain King into his new home.
Still sounds pretty crazy. Even for a daredevil like you, that's dangerous. And even if it works, what if neither Chief Lina nor Elder Trinidad are happy with it? Have you thought about what you'd do then?
At least the two of them would finally be on the same side of the issue, leaving only me on the opposing side. The tribe needs leaders like them far more than a Saurian hunter for hire like me. Can I take that to mean that we have a deal?
For sure. And who knows, maybe we'll come up with an even better solution to all of this in the next couple of days.
Great. Well, for the next couple of days, please spend some time among the tribe and lend a hand wherever you can. I'm sure everyone will be swept off their feet when they meet our new flame bearer. Good luck to us both.
You Okay, task for the day. Meet the tribespeople and take some heat off of Kenichi's back.
Huni, how can you call the Mountain King a monster?
Because he hurt a lot of people, and look what happened to Nana.
But it wasn't on purpose. The Mountain King is sick, that's all. He's been hurt by the Abyss.
That's true, but the fact remains that he's now a threat to all of us.
How can you be so harsh to someone who's sick? If you don't take back what you just said, I don't know if we can carry on being friends.
Toba, Kuni, what's wrong?
Huni's saying nasty things about the Mountain King. It's not right. He's our hero.
Once upon a time, maybe, but not anymore.
Yesterday, maybe, but not anymore.
Toba? Fine. I guess my dad is right. Things change, and you just have to accept it and move forward. As of today, our friendship is over. There's no going back. Oh, come on, cut it out, you two. We have some great news to tell you. The Traveler is gonna be the flame bearer for the next Turnfire Night. She's gonna do a beautiful ceremony and cure the Mountain King's illness for good.
What? Really?
So that's what my dad wanted to talk to you about? To be fair, from what we saw the other day, you are pretty good at climbing cliffs. Probably just as good as Kenich.
Wait, speaking of Kenich, where even is that guy?
Oh yeah, good question. Is he not coming to the ceremony anymore? We can get him to come, but if he catches you two fighting again, he won't be happy. He'll be sure to give you both a piece of his mind.
No, we can't let that happen. I've never even spoken to him before. I can't afford to make such a bad first impression.
I didn't mean to argue with Toba. All I said was that the Mountain King has done some pretty bad things. He was the one who turned it into a fight. Yeah, if you weren't friends, there's no way Toba would have come to look for the baby Saurians with you. All right. Well, because it's the Traveler and Paimon and Kenich, I'm sorry, Toba. I'm sorry for all the mean things I said about the Mountain King. Dad just really misses Nana. And I was really upset that she's gone, too.
Huh? Oh. I shouldn't have spoken to you the way I did either. It wasn't very nice of me. For the Traveler and Paimon, Kenich, and for Nana. I'm sorry too, Huni.
That's more like it. Now you're best friends again. Guess so. Toba, if I ever say something mean about the Mountain King in the future, I'll make sure I say it to someone else, and not you. I'd better go buy some colored cloth for my dad now. He needs it for Turnfire Night. Let's play again some other time. See you, Toba. See you, Traveler and Paimon.
Okay. I'll head home as well then. See you next time.
Okay, take care, you two. Even though they said they're sorry, it looks like their friendship isn't as strong as it was before. Let's just hope we can solve this once and for all. Come on, let's move on. Huh? What's going on over there? Let's take a look. Hey there! What's happening here?
A rehearsal for the Turnfire Night dance.
Ooh, there's a dance involved? Paimon wants to learn too!
You don't know it? I guess you're not from these parts, huh? It's rare to see a new face around the tribe these days. I thought everyone would be keeping away.
Why do you say that?
Because of the Turnfire Night, of course. The Mountain King could wake up at any time. That's why we're holding an emergency ceremony. This isn't one of those fun and games festivals. For outsiders, it might even be a little dangerous.
Well, did you know that the Flame Bearer this time is actually gonna be an outsider?
Oh, I did hear about that. It's a first for sure. I would have loved to meet them in person. What? Oh, it's you? Man, oh man. Well, this is a nice surprise. It's funny. I was just thinking that I'll probably miss out on meeting the new Flamebearer, since I'm not taking part this time around. Then suddenly, there you are! Must be my lucky day.
You're not taking part in the Turnfire Night? How come? You're not an outsider too, are you?
You must be joking. Watch this! Not bad, right? Yeah, I'm considered one of the better-looking guys who dances beneath the pillars of the Sacred Flame. Been doing it a few years. Always gets the ladies out to watch.
Oh, very impressive. So why'd you quit?
Well, I feel like the whole Mountain King situation is getting more and more precarious. It's just not safe here anymore. One of our elders' Saurian companions even lost her life not long ago. The question is, what are we going to do about this in the long term? But our leaders don't have any answers for us. They're probably too busy fighting about it amongst themselves. The way things are going, it's only a matter of time before it gets violent. So I figured, you know what? Now's as good a time as any to get away for a little while. Go do some exploring.
You look a little disappointed.
Disappointed? Nah, it's a great opportunity to go see the world. As every male scion of the Canopy knows, wherever you are and wherever you go, the only way is forwards. We take pride in that. I won't forget my roots. I managed to get in touch with the Saurian Relics Association. They gave me a simple test. Find a decent quality relic, and they'll make me a member.
What's the Saurian Relics Association?
You've never heard of it? It's a group of amateur history enthusiasts who do research on the ancient Saurian era. They're all about collecting relics and remnants from that age. Speaking of which, the guy who was Flamebearer before you, I've heard that his Saurian buddy comes from that time.
A how? A how's a relic from an ancient Saurian civilization?
Oh, yeah, him. So you know those two already, huh? Then, do you know how they met? It was deep inside some mysterious ruin, and they signed a contract there. The association folks say that the kind of contract usually comes with a huge hidden cost.
Really? That sounds ominous.
Who knows? But if it's true, Kanich can probably handle it. He knows what he's doing with weighing up contracts and costs and stuff. I doubt he'd make a contract that doesn't benefit him. Strangely enough, I actually happened upon a strange mural a while back, and it looked to me like it was depicting a Saurian and a human involved in some kind of Saurian-era contract ritual.
Oh, does that count as a relic then?
You bet it does. I was all ready to go take a picture of it and use it as my entry ticket to the association. But after all the abyssal activity recently, I heard that area's been overrun by monsters. The best laid plans, huh? I'll just have to wait and see if things improve. Or... you look like you know your way around a fight. I don't suppose there's any chance you'd be able to help?
If all you need to get is a picture, that should be pretty achievable, right? The Traveler deals with monsters all the time. It's a piece of cake.
Wait, you're seriously gonna help me out?
Come on, it's no big deal. Compared to some of the things we've been roped into before, this is nothing.
Pyro Archon above, you two have hearts of gold, you know that? You're the kind of people who could dive into the Turnfire deep in the bowels of the Night Kingdom, and it wouldn't burn a single hair off your head. Of course it is. All right, come with me. I'll show you the way. There it is. It's inside these ruins. As you can see, the place is crawling with monsters.
Alrighty then. Stay back and take cover, Tiago. This could get dangerous. We'll take care of him.
Great minds think alike. I'm not about to cramp your style.
Loaded. Hunt them down.
Let's nip that in the bud. Keep up.
Where evil lurks, shoot on sight.
One with the force. I'll uproot you!
That should be the last of them. It's a good thing Tiago had the sense to stay in his hiding place, or things could have gotten really hairy for him. Hey, look! That's gotta be it, right? Definitely looks like a mural. True. Now that you mention it, most ancient murals take up a whole huge wall. This looks more like someone with a paintbrush got bored and started doodling. It does match the story he told us, though. There's a Saurian and a human. So, is that supposed to be what an ancient contract ritual looked like? Whatever. We're not here to decipher it. Just photograph it. That's a wrap. Let's take it back to Tiago.
You've been robbed? Oh, Ponche. And I thought my luck was bad.
Oh, I put blood, sweat, and tears into that, and now I've got nothing to show for it. Some gap-toothed goon stole it from me.
Tiago, is this the picture you were looking for?
Let me take a look. Yep, that's the one. Pyro Archon above, you two are superhumans. Hey, Ponche, come and say hi to these guys. They're gonna be the new flame bearers, and they're tough as nails.
Wait, are you the Traveler and Paimon?
Huh? You already know each other?
I don't think so.
My nephew Toba's been telling everyone about you. He says you're crazy strong, super friendly, that you helped him out, and that you're gonna be our flame bearers this Turnfire night.
Oh, so you're Toba's uncle. Great to meet you, sir. Sounds like we managed to make a bit of a name for ourselves.
Toba's not wrong, my friend. These two are honestly some of the nicest, most genuine people I've ever met. Everyone speaks incredibly highly of them. Seriously, if you're comfortable telling them about what happened, I guarantee you they'll sort it out in no time.
Really? All I want is to get the fruits of my labor back.
Allow me to explain. Ponche is a well-known scholar within our tribe, author of the widely acclaimed book, Yupanqui's Turnfire. Unfortunately, the book was stolen by a treasure hoarder a few hours ago.
I spent years of my life researching that book. I visited every last ruin, interviewed every descendant of every hero in our history. On the word Malipo alone, I covered at least 5 different interpretations of the meaning based on accounts from different villages.
It was an unparalleled masterpiece.
And now it's all gone. That little goon ambushed me during my morning walk. He snatched all of my belongings, including my entire manuscript.
That book was everything to him. It's like they robbed him of his soul when they took it. Look at him. Lost and listless. He's a shell of the man he was.
Dear honored guests of our clan, I am but a helpless old student. If only for Toba and Tiago's sake, please help me. I beg of you.
See what I mean, Ponche? Now you've run into these two, your luck's about to change. Big time.
I don't know if he's still there, but come on, I'll take you. Hey! You thieving rat! Give me my things back!
What do you want now, you old bum? God, you're a waste of space. Prepare to get shoved butt first into a tree hollow. Oh, what's this? Brought a little bodyguard with you, huh? All right, let's see what you've got. Watch this! Eat dirt, suckers!
Hey, he's trying to get away! You good? Let's chase him down!
Stop, please! By all the warriors, heroes, gods, and kings, I can't run any longer. Please, I don't have your stuff anymore. Have mercy.
Oh, yeah? Well, where is it then?
I threw it away.
You threw it away?
The old bum's bag didn't have a single mora in it. Just a tatty old book, worn out pens, and some old rags. All that time lying in wait was for nothing. I was so mad I just threw all of it away.
Is that really the truth? Okay then, where did you throw it away?
The same place you found me. Look, I swear on the Pyro Archon it's the truth. May all my worldly possessions be turned to ash by Turnfire if I'm lying.
Okay, that's a pretty strong oath. What do we do now? It sounds like he's telling the truth. Right, let's hope nobody gets to the book before we do. We'll never get it back then.
Although the Turnfire is a heroic symbol in Hoytzatlan, it always comes with the more ominous implication of eventual tragedy. This holds true for all bearers of this ancient name in recorded history. Each one of them died of non-natural causes, as if the specter of the Turnfire was always lurking in the background. This appears to suggest the existence of some higher power that is always watching the name-bearer, examining their actions, and eventually demanding payment in return. None can escape this payment, unless, perhaps, they could honestly swear by Turnfire to never make a single mistake in their entire life. Yupanki's Turnfire. What an incredible work on ancient name philology. I can't believe it was just lying there for me to take. Let me see, the author is Ponche. Nice. A gentleman and a scholar.
Silence, book muncher. The great Kahula will suffer your droning voice no longer.
Do you truly find no joy at all in perusing such rich historical records?
Joy? What joy is there in this pointless drivel?
Well, it makes a pretty shocking prediction. Every bearer of the ancient name Malipo eventually meets a grisly end. Maybe that's the price you pay for the name that means price?
What? You're saying Kenichi will die a violent death? So I'll finally get to take over his body? When will that glorious day arrive? The great Kahula demands to know!
Wow, you are just irredeemable, aren't you? An agent of chaos down to the core. You make us Abyss Order folks look like saints in comparison.
Silence, maggot! To presume that anyone compares your kind with the great Kahula is sheer vanity. And if that day ever comes, oh, your doom will soon follow.
You don't need to lecture me about Doomsday. Here's what I know, based on countless historical texts. All civilizations will be reduced to rubble by the passage of time. From ancient kingdoms to heavenly thrones to worlds beyond, there are no exceptions. But from the ruins of every civilization, the dust will rise and never settle, thus transcending the confines of time. That dust is what we call a civilization's spirit. And you, great Kahul Ahau, are one such speck of dust from a bygone age. I've paid dearly for the chance to observe you up close. Now, let me take a good look at you. We'll see whether any memories of that age still remain inside you.
We're so sorry, Mr. Ponche, but we couldn't find your manuscript anywhere.
Does that mean all of my hard work was for nothing?
You gotta stay positive, Ponche. You might have lost the book, but the brains behind it are still intact. Surely you remember the main points at least?
The whole reason I worked so hard to get it finished before the Turnfire Night is because I hoped that maybe it might help us find a way through these trying times. But now, well, not exactly. But I thought my research might at least be a starting point.
Oh, really? So what did you find out in your research?
I think the key to all of this lies in the power of Malipo.
Ponche, you know as well as anyone that ancient names don't hold any real power. Symbolic power doesn't count.
You're right, but Malipo may be a special case. Given that it first arose in the era of the first Pyro Archon, it might contain remnants of Shibalanke's power.
Yeah, I remember that story. My grandpa told it to me when I was a little kid. Maybe you're the special case. Most kids stop believing in that stuff by your age.
I'm not talking about childhood superstitions here. There is evidence.
Like what?
Like the fact that the Mountain King is still alive. Everyone attributes that to the power of the Abyss. But there's more to it than that. The key factor is that Burkina summoned the power of Malipo at the cost of his own life. If you don't believe me, then answer me this. How many other creatures can you think of who lived longer, not shorter, after being contaminated by the Abyss?
Traveler, different situation but similar idea. Doesn't this remind you of the hilly...
So, I came to the conclusion that Malipo must refer to some mysterious ritual involving a tit-for-tat exchange. It began with the first Pyro Archon, fell with the Grand Alliance, then was buried in the Night Kingdom. And now, it awaits the call of its new bearer.
Hey. Sorry to interrupt, Ponche, but you seem to be getting a little overexcited.
I'm sorry. I was originally planning on presenting my findings to Kinich. I'd hoped he would be attending the upcoming ceremony.
Sounds to me like you dreamed up one fanciful theory to support another.
Kinich, what are you doing here?
I more or less finished what I was doing, so I came to have a quick catch-up. Now a good time?
Kinich! I'm onto something. I haven't worked out all the details, but you have to attend the Turnfire Night.
So Mr. Ponche here has done a lot of research on the history of the Turnfire, and thinks he might have found a way for you to solve the problem.
I'll be there, Ponche. Let's go. Here will do. Yeah. I'd like your help giving it a trial run tomorrow. If that works, we have our plan come Turnfire Night.
Sounds like you're not considering Ponche's idea.
You heard him. He hasn't worked out the details yet. We need a more practical solution with concrete steps to follow.
Yet? Are you saying you think he might actually be onto something?
I think it's possible, based on something I know about the war 500 years ago. Burkina didn't fall to the abyss. He was killed by the Mountain King in an episode of madness. In his final moments, Burkina made the fateful decision to not fight back, and instead pass his blood and power on to the Mountain King. Maybe he thought the Mountain King was stronger than him, and more valuable to the tribe. Or maybe it was just out of loyalty to his friend. Either way, I can believe the Turnfire was involved. Whether you think his sacrifice triggered it, or his fate was sealed from the moment he took the Malipo name, it makes sense to me.
How can you drop these truth bombs with such a straight face?
This is what I've gleaned from my many interactions with the Mountain King. His mind is so disordered. It took some time to piece it all together. The story Elder Trinidad told you was the more palatable version of events. The truth is even darker. The Mountain King's mind isn't just disordered. He is suffering and feels great shame.
What? Then what should we do? Should we grant him his wish?
Of course not. We should help him move to a new home. It's the only practical solution. The Mountain King is a hero to my tribe. An object of worship, even. Ending his life would be like desecrating a statue. Still, he's been the cause of multiple disasters, and we can't afford to have any more.
Ugh. Practical solutions hurt Paimon's brain. Can we follow our hearts next time?
Then let's break for the day. I've already found a suitable venue for tomorrow. You're here. Very punctual.
Oh, so the gruesome twosome come crawling back. Here to make amends after the gross irreverence you displayed last time? Very well. The almighty Dragon Lord Kahula shall grant you the audience that you seek. Now pucker up and kiss our feet.
Kanichi, didn't you say you found him a teacher? He's just as out of control as ever!
Hey! No one gets to discipline the almighty Dragon Lord Kahula. No one!
Maybe because I've never had a gentle-natured companion like Paimon to compare against.
Is that a compliment?
Yeah. I see what I'm missing out on now. And it's a lot.
Kanichi! We could drown this measly flying ant in one droplet of spit! How dare you compare her to the almighty Dragon Lord Kahula? Oh, just wait till I possess your dead body! I will commit heinous atrocities! Tear down your legacy! Destroy your reputation! Wreak havoc on your...
Traveler, Paimon, let's get down to business. Once we've opened the beastly rift, you're welcome to toss a how in there for a couple of days.
With pleasure. You don't need to ask twice.
I got my hands on this device in a trade. It's meant as bait, but it'll also stabilize the abyssal energy. The Rift Towns will tear through space to get to this. Once they're here, we take them out and claim the rift for ourselves. You'll find out soon enough. First, let's try this out. They'll tear you to pieces given half the chance, so be careful. Target acquired.
Uh-oh. Are there even bigger ones on the way?
You see, Kinich? I'm a man of my word. In fact, I'd say I under-promised and over-delivered. Nifty little gizmo, isn't it?
I take it this is your true form?
Now that our deal is complete, it's time to start the next phase of our relationship. I made a promise to the great Kahula How, and now I'm here to seize your body for his use. Cliché, I know. The hero's trusted partner sells him out to the abyss in a shocking act of betrayal. Cue bad guy speech and drawn-out death sequence.
Huh? Angel?
Huh? Huh? What are you two doing here? Oh, Mr. Kinich, this is not what we agreed on!
Traveler, this is the gift I got you. I know you're looking for intel on the Abyss Order, so I thought he might be of use to you. But it looks like you've already met.
Yikes. Frosty reception. Gotta say, I kinda pictured this moment going a little differently. Tears of joy welling up in your eyes as you say the words, "It's good to see you again, old friend."
Don't be ridiculous. Sounds like you've been reading too many romance novels.
There we have it. Change is inevitable and nothing lasts forever. What a pity. Well then, time for you to meet the new me. This time, please call me Sanka.
Sanka! Aha! So you're a glasses guy! You tricked Huni and Toba into telling you a bunch of stories!
What does it matter? A name is a superficial label. It's what's deep down inside that counts. And I've shown you the deepest parts of me.
That would explain a lot. Why else would you show up here and start acting like a wise guy? You looking for a fight?
I'll pass. I do rather like you, as I've said before. But my one quibble is that you really don't know your own strength.
Wait. Of course! You're the one behind all the recent Abyss activity! Let Paimon guess, you've been provoking the Mountain King too!
Haven't I told you before? I'm not part of the inner circle who do our highnesses' bidding. My interests are far more low stakes. I spend my time digging for truth in ancient doodads and books. You really think a benchwarmer like me is capable of more than that?
I investigated him. He's not connected to the recent events. Just happens to be in the area. So, I struck a deal with him. He helps me summon a rift. I allow him to do some historical research.
But that's all over. And now Kinich wants to hand me over to you. Well, I was hoping this would be an opportune moment to whisk away his body. That would have given me some more time to study the great Kahula How. But now I've run into you, which is just my luck. Or maybe I've incited the wrath of the Turnfire, and this is the price I have to pay. But I don't understand. What did I do wrong? Wait, does that count? Let me think.
How? You are the worst of the worst! Colluding with the Abyss Order against Kinich? How could you betray your partner?
There is no betrayal. The almighty Dragon Lord Kahula How is a partner to no one.
Don't worry, I told him to act as bait.
Yes, and you should have picked a bigger fish. The Abyss Order? Ha! What a joke. Not even a match for our lowly servant. I put up with this toad's croaking for days, and it was all for nothing.
It looks like your disciplinary measures have been less than effective, Mr. Enjo.
What did you expect? Behavioral rehab isn't really our thing. Otherwise, we might as well change our name from the Abyss Order to the Abyss Boarding School.
The abysmal disorder would suit you better. Kanish! Dispose of him! He is of no further use to us!
Traveler?
You see, this is why I like you. Still, you shouldn't underestimate me just because I'm a lowly clerk. I could never beat you in a straight-up fight. But when it comes to running away, I won't lose to anyone. Do me a favor and remember how fast I disappear. Maybe then you'll show me a little respect next time.
Darn! He got away again! Couldn't you have stopped him?
It's all right. He's not worth our time and energy. Besides, it seems like he's in debt to a lot of people. I'm sure they'll keep him busy.
If you say so. Still, Paimon's kinda surprised that you actually struck a deal with someone from the Abyss Order.
To borrow that guy's words, names are superficial labels. Whether you call it the Abyss Order or anything else, it's a broad generalization at best. Think of it like apples that have fallen from a tree. If you tasted each one, you'd find that they're all at different stages of ripening. Even the unripe fruit blown off its branch before it's fully grown can still be brewed into a fine wine. Everything has its use.
Huh. Well, in that specific sense, maybe Enjo's not such a bad apple. Not rotten to the core, at least.
Of course! Only the almighty Dragon Lord, Kahula How, is rotten to the core and evil beyond redemption.
Ugh. So what exactly are you anyway? You're definitely the evilest little thing Paimon's ever met.
Don't worry. He can't hurt a fly. You could say that.
Paimon heard that those kinds of contracts might come with a terrible cost attached. Is that true?
Such as a How watching me like a ravenous vulture?
Vulture? Vulture? We are the Dragon Supreme, sovereign ruler of the Nation of Flame.
Let's pick this up another time. It's getting kinda late. You should go back and get some rest. Big day ahead. Tomorrow's Turnfire night. Time to light the sacred flame and burn away the filth for a legendary 500-year-old warrior.
Oh yeah. Hearing you lay it out like that is making Paimon a little nervous. For all the work we've put in, it all comes down to tomorrow night. We have to make sure we solve this problem once and for all.
Then it can't hurt to say this one more time. Good luck to us both. See you tomorrow.
Ah, at long last, you're back. I hear you've done much for our people these last few days. Everyone has nothing but praise for you. Many young people have heard the rumors, too. They're all eager to meet our new flame bearer.
Well, they won't have to wait for long. It's almost time for the ceremony. We really hope we can resolve the Mountain King situation quickly and smoothly. Seems like a lot of people have been worrying about it, huh?
Well, it's nearly time. So, if you're ready, then follow me to the ceremony site.
Off we go!
Here we are.
Our honored guests have arrived. I have heard much about your fine work over the past few days. I hope you'll allow us to thank you properly after tonight's ceremony.
Don't worry about it. Getting this huge venue ready must have been a huge task. No need to make extra work for yourselves on our account.
Oh, if it means getting the Mountain King issue resolved, no cost is too great to bear.
A resolution will come in due course. But every great fire starts as a tiny spark. We must take it one step at a time.
No one would disagree with you if that were possible, Chief. But it's been far too long since we've seen a real step forward. Look around you. Can't you see how our numbers have dwindled since the last Turnfire night?
The ceremony was arranged on short notice. Many are away from home and could not make it back in time.
That may be so, but still.
Good evening, Traveler in Paimon.
Kanich! Not a moment too soon.
Chief Wayna, Elder Trinidad, could you give us a minute? I'd like to give the Traveler a few pointers as the previous Flamebearer.
Very well, but make it quick. Let me know when you're done and we will begin the ceremony.
Let's step to the side. Has anyone gone over the key steps of the ceremony with you yet?
Yeah, Elder Trinidad did, but, Paimon seems to have forgotten them?
What a surprise! The flying ant has an ant-sized brain.
If you don't want your tongue to be burned off by the sacred flame tonight, I suggest you stay quiet. See those sacred flame pillars? Once you've lit the fire, go light each one up in turn. Once that's done, head down into the cave where the Mountain King slumbers, light the braziers along the way, then bring the flame to the final altar. Then the ceremony is complete.
That sounds simple enough.
The process isn't complicated, but remember, you mustn't turn back at any point. If you miss a pillar, you can't light the next one, then come back to it. You have to keep moving forward, or it's seen as disrespecting our ancestors. If that happens, you won't receive the blessing of the Turnfire, and you'll have to start over. I made you a diagram that summarizes the steps. Take a look.
So that's our part. What about you?
I'll be with you the whole way, and once you've lit the altar, I'll start summoning the rift. You can leave that side of things to me. Just focus on your part.
Okay. We'll try to remember all that and get it right the first time.
Ready when you are. But I think I saw Huni and the others just now. Maybe you should say hi before you start. Might make you less nervous. Just tell the chief when you're ready.
Leave it to me.
I saw you leave the ceremony site and was worried you might get lost, so I came to check up on you. Are you in trouble? Okay, let's go.
How are you doing? Is all in order? I'm counting on you. Don't forget what we talked about. By past fuel and present flame, life marches ever on. My brothers and sisters, the time has come to light the fire once again and let the Turnfire Night shine bright in Hoytzitlan.
Go get the sacred flame. Nicely done. Off to a good start. Great stuff. You're over halfway. Keep it up. Impressive. Just one more to go. Come on, one last push. The final sacred flame pillar is up ahead. Great! All the pillars are alight. Next, it's down into the canyon and head for the Mountain King's cave. Almost there. The cave is just up ahead. This presence is growing strong. We should deal with the contamination first. There's the altar of the sacred flame. Remember, light up the torches around it first.
That's the Mountain King up ahead, right?
That's him. Kangamato, king of the Yumkasaurs from 500 years ago. He's very powerful.
Paimon can tell. He's huge. Let's tread carefully. We don't want to wake him up.
You've made it at last. You did even better than I expected.
Traveler, now comes the final and most important step of the ceremony. Please use the power of the sacred flame to cleanse the Mountain King of abyssal filth.
There's no need this time.
Such strong abyssal power. What is that thing? Kinich, what is the meaning of this?
Is that a beastly rift?
Chief Waina, Elder Trinidad, this is about to get a little dangerous. You should step back.
What do you think you're doing?
Solving the Mountain King issue.
You mean by having him torn to pieces by rift hounds?
No, stop! We can't let that happen!
Foolish Locust! Can't you see? We're trying to shove your Locust King into the beastly rift!
But...
I'm sorry, Chief Waina and Elder Trinidad. This is the only way.
Can you promise me that no harm will come to the Mountain King?
I can't guarantee it, but I'm fairly confident.
Traveler, this is not what we agreed on! You must cleanse the Mountain King of every last trace of abyssal contamination! Okay, I see what this is. You've been in cahoots this whole time!
Ugh, you imbecile! What have you done?
Oh no! The device is destroyed!
You forced my hand. I had no choice.
Elder Trinidad! What are you doing?
No! The Mountain King is waking up! He will cause even more casualties!
Everyone, out! Now!
Well, it seems there's only one way to awaken you all from your willful blindness. More sacrifices must be made. Take me, O Mountain King! Take me as your next sacrifice!
Everyone's still outside. We have to keep the Mountain King here. Give me a hand. Watch out for the fruits he's spitting out. I can use those against him. Yeah, that's it!
I'll race you there!
I got him cornered! That was unexpected!
Hey!
acquired.
Go, go, Barret Bite!
Locked on.
What do we do? We can't open the rift!
Kill me! Put an end to White's shame!
By past fuel and present flame, life marches ever on.
Oh, Burkina, I must atone.
Patience. We will answer to the fire for all our deeds. Even if one day I fall behind, never look back. Keep moving forward, as we are now.
Live with your guilt and shame. This is the price to pay.
Heir to the Turnfire, please use my ruined vessel to train the heroes of the future. The will of Kongamato will march ever on, till the abyss is stamped out.
Pretty eventful day yesterday, huh? I'm wondering...
It would be my honor.
Traveler, you've come at just the right time. I have some good news for you. Trinidad's condition is stabilized. He suffered burns on much of his body, but we believe he'll survive.
Guess that's the best news we could hope for. Paimon has to ask, is everyone in your tribe such a risk-taker? First Kinich, then Elder Trinidad? Is this the Scions of the Canopy's adventurous spirit in action?
We're simply not afraid to charge ahead into the unknown. He's fine. Don't worry. He's gone to check on the Mountain King. Something most mysterious has happened. After the incident yesterday, a transparent shell has formed around the Mountain King's body. We don't understand the mechanism behind it, but the shell appears to insulate him against the influence of abyssal power. It is somewhat akin to a scab, in that it stops the abyssal energy within him from bleeding out, while also preventing further abyssal energy from seeping in and infecting him. We've never seen anything like it. The tribe's most senior elders believe it was caused when he was burned by the sacred flame, similar to the way burned wood becomes charcoal. I think their theory makes sense. After all, we've never thrown the Mountain King directly into the sacred flame before.
Wow. So it's made a barrier against abyssal energy? That's... a good thing, right?
It's practically a miracle from what we've seen of it so far. It means that the Mountain King's level of abyssal energy is now stable. No longer will we need to perform an annual cleansing ceremony.
Wow, that's amazing!
I know what you're thinking. The young people in the tribe are already speculating that yesterday's ceremony was a Turnfire night like none other in our history. Because you and Kinich, you summoned the very flame that appears in our ancient legends. A great transparent ball of fire. And that fire is what saved the Mountain King.
Whoa! So that was the real Turnfire?
I may be the chief of this tribe, but I've only ever known the Turnfire as a concept in our legends. I cannot answer that question. If anyone can answer it, I suspect it would be the bearer of the Malipo name. He is in the Mountain King's cave as we speak.
Ah, so Kinich then. Why don't we go see how he's doing?
Hey yourselves. You two doing okay after yesterday?
We were gonna ask you the same question. You scared Paimon half to death when you rushed into the fire.
Sorry, I couldn't just stand and watch the Mountain King get burned alive.
So you thought you'd try and extinguish the sacred flame with Dendro? Or is that an attempt to make the almighty Dragon Lord Kahulahow die of laughter?
The sacred flame only possesses a fraction of the Pyro Archon's power. It's not as if I was fighting the Pyro Archon herself.
Kinich, when you went into the flames, were you intending to,
Intending to what?
to, do the same thing as Burkina?
Sacrifice myself? Of course not. My focus was on keeping the Mountain King alive, not on what it would cost. But now I'm curious. What made you think I was going to sacrifice myself?
Well, because everyone's saying the Turnfire is what saved the king last night. And Ponche's theory was that summoning the Turnfire is a tit-for-tat exchange, right? So, Paimon thought you decided to pay for it with your life.
So you've heard that rumor too. I'm afraid I can't say for sure. What happened yesterday was a first for me too.
Well, even if you don't know, there's probably no one in the world who does.
What I would say is, if that really was the power of the Turnfire, I'd sooner believe that the Mountain King summoned it himself.
The Mountain King? Then, what price did he pay?
The core meaning of price is not atonement or compensation, but what you're willing to give up in order to obtain what you want. It's easy to die for your sins. Much harder to live with the guilt and keep on going. In the end, the Mountain King chose the latter option. For Burkina and for the tribe. That's the price he paid.
Alright, so how is the Mountain King doing now?
Health-wise, there's nothing to worry about. He'll enter a fighting stance whenever we set foot in his territory. But his attacks are gentler now and not as crazed as before. Like he said yesterday, he just intends to be a sparring partner for people to practice with. Yeah, I tried communicating with him again, but he didn't respond.
We dare say that Locust King has well and truly lost its mind. The lights are on, but nobody is home. Its body remains fighting fit thanks to the perverse power of the Abyss, but time has been less kind to its soul. It was ground to a pulp long ago.
But we saw him come back to his senses yesterday.
That was merely one last burst of brain activity before it croaked. As you humans would say, it went out with a bang.
Oh, come on! Stop being such a doomer. Paimon bets the Mountain King has finally let go of the tragedies of the past now, and is focusing on moving forward. That's why he doesn't have time to chat with us. He's too busy thinking about the future.
Well, at least it means my fellow tribespeople can move forward now, too. Thank you for your help, Traveler. I owe you one.
Yeah, that's right. You caught Enjo for us, remember?
But he ended up being completely useless. It's not a fair trade if you lost out.
That's on him. It's not your fault he's useless. Besides, we're friends now. You don't know us anything.
Friends? But your friendship is an even more valuable gift. I can't in good conscience accept it for free. So promise me, if you need anything in the future, you'll come to me. For you, I'll do anything.
So, in the end, only poor little Huni got the sad ending?
Yeah, everyone's happy except me. First Nana, then my dad. Why does everyone in my family have to suffer?
Huni, it'll be okay. Your dad will get better soon.
Toba, you're my friend, so I shouldn't say this to your face. But it was all the Mountain King's fault.
Huh?
Now hold your horses, kiddo. If you promise not to fight, Uncle Sanka will tell you a story. Okay, before you roll your eyes out of your skull, I promise you can trust me. I almost got my eyebrows burned off by the turnfire after last time. That's why I came back, to make it up to you. All right, I'll just get to the point. Do you know what Uncle Sanka loves the most about your people?
What?
Your extreme sports.
Huh?
On my first day here, I got hit by someone falling out of the sky. I believe you call it bungee jumping? It's a dangerous sport, to be sure, but the courage it took to make the jump impressed the heck out of me. So, I introduced myself to the jumper, we made friends, and I even helped treat her wounds.
Oh, such a nice friend.
Of course. Anyway, the good times didn't last, because I got captured by a powerful foe, so we had to part ways for a while. In the hands of the enemy, I was scorned, scolded, and nearly given away as a gift. Oh, it was so humiliating. A horrible experience to look back on. Why does Uncle Sanka always have to suffer, I thought. So I feel your pain, Huni. I was in the same position. But in the end, I made it through, and I left all of those painful memories in the past. I even managed to reunite with my friend.
Is that it?
The moral of the story is to look forward in life, right? Yeah, we've heard that one millions of times. Sorry, Uncle Sanka, but you're not cut out to be a teacher.
Very smart, Huni, but not quite smart enough. What I'm trying to tell you is that after I reunited with my friend, I found her injuries were all healed, but she really missed her family. So, I thought you might like to see her too. She's right behind you. Turn around and see.
Another trick about not turning back? I'm not falling for that one again. Huh?
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. part of the learning process.
Huh? Do you also see Navia and Clorand over there? They look like they might have run into some kind of trouble. Let's go check out what's going on!
Still no dice?
Not at all. And I've asked pretty much everyone in the court of Fontaine already. Lynette's ears drooped as soon as she heard that we'd have to be out and about for days on end. And Fremine, he hid himself under his helmet as soon as he realized there'd be people around that he didn't know.
What about Chiori and Charlotte? I feel like both of them would be more than up to it.
I've asked them already, but they're both pretty busy right now. I just gave the members of the Spina a few days off, too, so I don't want to bother them either.
This is getting pretty difficult.
Navia, Clorand, what's up?
Oh my. Well, if it isn't my dear partners. How are you all doing?
Huh. Navia?
Huh? Oh, you mean...
Yep, this is our chance.
Do you need our help with something?
Oh, precisely. My dear partners, we've got a huge problem right now that only you can solve.
Whoa, for real?
Absolutely. We've already exhausted all our other options.
Traveler, Paimon, would you join us and play Marechaussee Hunter Judgment Day?
Marechaussee what now?
It's a new game script by the Tabletop Troupe, a local roleplay adventure club.
Ever heard of the Tabletop Troupe? They put out games that allow you to participate in a story and roleplay characters with your friends. Oh, I've loved their stuff ever since I was a kid.
That sounds super interesting.
Clorand and I are both veteran members of the club. Recently, someone came up with a new script and was looking for people to help playtest it for them. And when they asked, of course I couldn't refuse. I mean, come on! A brand new script? Nobody has ever played it before.
Generally speaking, scripts at that level of development have a lot of issues, but I think this one is pretty solid. The author obviously put a lot of work into the story, and the world building is also quite credible.
Whoa. I know I was the one that handed you the script, but some of us haven't read it yet. No spoilers, please.
Anyway, the script calls for a team of 4. Ah, yes. We're missing one final player right now.
So, you're saying you'll help us out? I knew I could count on you, partner.
Paimon and the Traveler are kind of a package deal. Is that okay?
That's not a problem. I'll adjust the pace based on the actual number of players, and ensure that everyone has a good time.
Well, Traveler, what do you think? Wanna play? Paimon will follow your lead.
Well, that solves our problem. You have our thanks.
Woohoo! I'll go grab the script manager from the club right away.
The script manager? Didn't you just say that you gave Clorand the script?
The club introduced a completely new kind of gameplay for the script. In this iteration, the Game Master's version of the script is incomplete. The script manager provides the next part of the script only after players have completed the current list of objectives. On top of that, in order to increase player immersion, the club has created some of the story's sets and scenes in real life. We'll only know where we should go once the script manager reveals the starting location.
Wow, you're right. Whoever wrote this script really did put in a lot of work.
And it's got a real healthy amount of suspense, right? I mean, even the GM doesn't know how the story will end.
I look forward to experiencing it with you all.
Why don't you go meet up with the others first? They should all be waiting at Chioria Boutique. I'll come over with the script manager as soon as I find them.
Sounds good. Remember to always watch where you're going, and don't rush.
Oh, you say that like I'm 6 years old or something. Let me think. What kind of character should I play this time?
I just hope you'll pick up some useful skills this time. Oh, and stop trying to persuade every animal you come across. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Ah, you're back! Huh? And you've got the Traveler and Paimon with you, too!
What a pleasant surprise. I assume you'll be joining us for the game then?
Linny, Farina! Paimon didn't know you were playing too! Are you also members of the tabletop troupe?
I'm more of a casual member, if anything. I haven't taken part in many formal club activities. Lynette Fremine and I play something similar at the Hotel Bouffe Tété sometimes, but I'm usually the GM. Still, I'm sure it'll be fun being a player for the first time. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm not a member of the club at all. Clarion simply woke me up first thing this morning, said there was a good script worth experiencing, and asked if I wanted in.
If you're interested, I can give you a referral. That should give you a 40% discount on membership fees.
I think I'll wait to see how this experience plays out first, especially when it comes to the quality of the script. If it's sufficiently fun, then I'll join.
Do you participate in a lot of tabletop troupe activities, Clarion?
You could say that. She's actually one of the few senior game masters of the troupe.
Ah, right. I knew about that even when she was still my subordinate.
It's nothing. Really, just a small hobby of mine.
Wow. Paimon's so used to seeing you be all upstanding and intimidating as the champion duelist. It's kind of hard to imagine you role-playing with a bunch of friends.
Surely you jest. I would never intentionally make things difficult for my players. I maintain a clear boundary between my professional and personal lives. The me you see at court represents the law and order of Fontaine. I put all personal feelings to the side and grant a fair duel to all who seek to defend their honor. But in my personal life, I'm just an ordinary person. Someone who feels anger and sadness, just like everyone else.
Well, you say that, but for all the time I've known you, I don't think I've ever seen you cry. I've seen you get angry, sure, but now I'm wondering whether you were actually mad or if it just looked that way from the outside.
I was probably in work mode during those times.
Is that so? Well, in any case, I just feel like even in your personal life, you don't get emotional very often.
So you want to see me cry? That might be a little difficult. A show of anger, though, that might be something I could accomplish.
No, that's not what I meant. Ah, I'm back! Here, allow me to introduce you to the script manager, Mr. Florian.
Pleasure to meet you all.
Hello. Wait, are you a champion duelist too, Mr. Florian?
Oh, no. This is just the costume provided by the club. I occasionally play a few of the roles in my scripts.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It's nothing. It's the least we can do to give the players a more immersive experience. Anyway, allow me to give you a brief introduction of the script. This script was adapted from the real history of the Marechaussee Hunters. You all will play the role of hunters from a bygone era and resolve a series of events unfolding in the capital.
Paimon's not super familiar with the history of the Marechaussee Hunters. Is that a problem?
Oh, no problem at all. I can give you a brief rundown. So, basically, Marechaussee Hunters were people who dedicate themselves to hunting monsters and protecting the city by using a special swordsmanship technique passed down over generations. Their story can be traced back to the ancient Remurian dynasty, as well as the first hunter, Cassiodor. But I'll leave the finer details for you to seek out and discover later.
And I'll provide additional commentary as the story progresses.
In that case, brave hunters, are you ready to set out on an unknown adventure?
Whoa, just one sentence and it's like we're in the story already!
Aha, I see many a determined gaze before me. Very well, head over to this location and begin your heroic journey.
So, as we follow the story, it leads us to specific scenes? Ooh, sounds pretty innovative. What does the message in the envelope say?
It's the exact location of the scene, as well as the formal permission to use the venue. Seems like they have everything prepared. Please check all your belongings, everyone, and make sure you haven't forgotten anything. Once you're ready, please follow me to the designated location.
Sounds good. Hunter Squad, move out!
They really have thought of everything. Even the Fatometer is here and ready to go for us.
The Fatometer? What's that?
It's a card that's used to determine action success or failure. We'll need to use it when we try to use certain skills.
And what about all the dessert and tea? Is that for us as well?
That's what the message said.
Really? That's so nice. It feels just like a tea party with friends.
Those snacks have Paimon's name written all over them.
I think you might be more of a snack hunter than a Marashose hunter, Paimon.
Snack Hunter Paimon reported for duty. If there are delicious snacks to be found, Paimon will track down every last one.
The desserts are great. But I'm still looking forward to the story more than anything.
Very fair. Then, let us begin. First, please pick up the blank character cards in front of you, and write down your name and profession. You can find an abbreviated version of the rules printed on the back of your character card. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. In this story, everyone is a Marashose hunter. To reflect this, the club has prepared a small badge for everyone.
Ooh, nice!
As hunters, you have proficiency in swordsmanship and fighting by default, so there's no need to allocate any additional skill points to those areas.
Swordsmanship? So there's a fighting part to all of this? Paimon's not sure she can do all that on her own. Maybe Paimon can just stick with you?
Why don't you share a character card then? The Traveler will be the Marashose hunter, and you can be her little floating assistant.
Kinda like in real life.
So, for the name, do I fill it out with the name of my character?
Yep. It can be any name you like.
You can use your real name too if you want. I do that whenever I get too lazy to think of a new name.
Oh, so it would be like experiencing a different life, but still as yourself. That's not a bad idea.
In that case, I think I'll continue to use the name Linny then.
Next up is the skill sheet. You have a limited amount of skill points that you can use to learn a number of skills. The more points you invest in a particular skill, the easier it will be to pass associated checks.
I'll take Persuasion and Investigation. Those are must-haves when it comes to missions like these.
Oh, those skills sound like they'd be useful for gathering intelligence. Good idea, Navia. Just as expected of a veteran player.
So should we also take those skills then?
Not necessarily. Since we're working together as a team, we could leave the negotiations to Navia and use our skill points to pick up other useful skills. For example, I think I'll take stealth and sleight of hand. That will give us more options if we run into any situations we can't negotiate our way out of.
Oh, interesting. I wasn't thinking about it like that. I suppose it's not so different from an acting troupe. Everyone has their own role to play. Let me see. I'll take art and performance. I'm not quite sure what use they'll be, but I'm not as knowledgeable about the other skills, and I am not too confident I'd be able to roleplay them well.
Well, that leaves us. What do you want to learn, Traveler? Oh, something that'll help you get a read on other people's thoughts. Sounds useful. Ha! Gotta say, this suits you really well. Nothing boosts morale like good food. So what do you think? Are you sure you want to learn these 2 skills?
Let's see. Oh, looks like you each have enough points to choose one final skill.
You've all picked such classic skills. It's fine to go a little bit out of the box, you know.
Why do I get the feeling she's getting ready to cause trouble?
For example, this one here. Summon. Doesn't it sound super mysterious and cool?
Oh, I saw that one just now as well. The description says, this skill can be used under certain circumstances to summon characters or creatures that fit the script's world-building rules.
The script's world-building rules, huh? But how are we supposed to know what a Marashose hunter can summon?
Oh, that's not for us to worry about, my friend. Just learn the skills that interest you, and the GM will take care of the rest.
All right, you've convinced Paimon. Let's learn summon then. Paimon can't wait to see what kind of thing shows up.
Well, now that everyone's more or less finished creating their characters, we can begin. Since 2 of our players are doing this for the first time, though, let me ask, would you like to play on easy mode or authentic mode?
What's the difference between the 2?
Well, in role-playing games, the story sometimes changes based on the decisions of the players and the results of the Fatometer. For example, if you fail a check, that means you cannot use the target skill in that scenario. A critical failure may even result in further negative consequences. If you choose to play in authentic mode, every time you elect to use a skill, you'll need to use the Fatometer to see whether you succeed or fail, and face any consequences that may follow. If you choose easy mode instead, every check will be successful by default, and you won't have to worry about luck playing a factor.
Given that I'd like to focus on the story, I suppose I should pick easy mode. I'd feel bad if I brought the team down by failing my checks.
Huh? Oh, come on. Don't worry about that. RNG is the lifeblood of role-playing games. I'm going with authentic mode for sure. Never knowing what you might have to overcome. Ugh, doesn't that sound exciting?
I'd rather be mentally prepared for what might happen.
All right, then I'll mark down Farina for easy mode. All her checks will be successful by default. As usual, Navia and Linny will play on authentic mode.
What about you, dear partner? How would you like to play?
Are you sure?
Trust me, you'll see the beauty of RNG. Honestly, I don't think Clorand would make things too difficult for us, no matter what the Fatometer says. Isn't that right, Clorand?
No promises.
That wasn't super reassuring.
Well, anyway, enough talk. Let's get started. I want to experience at least a good chunk of the story today.
Speaking of the story, why is the beginning scene on a beach?
Well, that's because a long time ago, back when human civilization was still in its infancy, powerful demons and evil sorcerers ruled over the land. They created a host of monsters and sent them to slaughter all humans in existence. Soon, a group of human rebels banded together. With their swords raised, they swore to brave the darkness, and in doing so, subdue each and every monster that sought their destruction. They became known as the Marachose Hunters. Sometime later, as a member of the Marachose Hunters, you receive a commission. Following the address provided on the message, you take a boat and arrive at this strange city. As you inhale, you can taste the slightly salty air of the docks as you begin to survey your surroundings. There aren't many people in the vicinity, but you do take note of a few others who, like you, seem to be sizing up this place. Your eyes meet, and you realize these people are fellow Marachose hunters, likely led to this location after receiving the same commission as you.
You're all Marachose hunters too, right? Allow me to introduce myself. The name's Navia, monster hunter by trade and helpful neighborhood businesswoman on the side. What say you to traveling together? We can help each other out on the road.
Okay, count me in. My name is Linny. I've been wandering since I was little and picked up a few less than legal tricks along the way. I was adopted by a Marachose hunter and later chose to follow in his footsteps.
Is this where you introduce your character to everyone? It sounds like they've done this dozens of times. My name is Farina, and, I grew up in a noble family. I always had a strong interest in performance and the arts. Even though I'm a Marachose hunter, what I really want is to be a performing artiste.
Hey, that's really cool. You can do it, Farina. That's exactly how it's done.
Paimon is Paimon, a good friend and companion to this Marachose hunter right here.
I've been studying the culinary arts since I was a child. I hope my delicious food can help boost people's spirits.
That's wonderful. I'll be looking forward to your cooking during our adventures together.
Well, if we're all here for the same commission, why don't we take some time to confirm what we need to do?
You open your envelopes at the same time. The message reads, "To the honorable and trustworthy Marachose hunters, our kingdom is currently facing a grave crisis. The lands outside the capital have been overtaken by monsters, and our people are being led astray by forces of wickedness. We beseech you, please help us resolve this crisis and return peace and stability to our home."
Huh. The layout of this city looks super familiar. It kind of reminds Paimon of Mondstadt.
The scriptwriter must have used a real-world city as a reference when coming up with the map.
As experienced hunters, the layout of the city reminds you of places once traveled. You recall the sight of tree-lined streets and the gentle tranquility of days gone by. Yet, as you regard the city in front of you, it appears to be little more than an empty shell. Its hollow gates are open to you, beckoning you to come forth and bring salvation back to the town.
I carefully read every line of the letter and turn my attention to the signatures at the bottom. Who issued this commission to us?
You see a long string of unfamiliar names. It would seem that many of the residents of the city issued this commission together. They sensed that things were not right within the kingdom and sent a distress signal to the outside world.
In that case, why don't we take a walk around the city and see if we can learn anything from the local residents?
Oh, good idea. We might be able to get some leads on the monsters and bad guys we're after.
You look up and see a tavern nearby. It appears to be open for the day.
Why don't we go check out that tavern? If the novels I've read are anything to go by, taverns are usually full of information.
As you approach the tavern, you find a plainly dressed woman standing nearby. She appears to be rather troubled about something.
Greetings, friend. Lovely weather we're having today, don't you think?
Oh, hello. I suppose you're right. The weather today is quite lovely. If only those monsters out there would stop causing trouble.
It seems like every character included in the script has a certain amount of useful information to offer. If we keep asking questions, we might be able to get some good leads.
Oh, come now, don't be sad. Life is all about optimism. Oh, that reminds me. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
Huh?
I don't think that's the kind of question we're supposed to ask.
Nothing turns a frown upside down like good food. How about some macarons? I could make you some.
You didn't even take cooking as one of your skill proficiencies.
That's not necessary, miss. Excuse me for saying this, but you don't really look like a chef. Besides, I'm not really a fan of sweets.
So you're someone who barely smiles and doesn't like sweets. You're really starting to remind me of this one friend of mine. Hey! Did she just... me?
Glorian must have broke character for a second.
This isn't getting us anywhere. Traveler, maybe you can think of something.
Are you sure? In that case, please refer to the fatometer.
Whoa, it was a success!
You remain silent as you prepare a pot and fire to use for cooking. The woman stares at you with her mouth agape as you skillfully cut the ingredients and toss them into the pot. After some time, a rich aroma begins to fill the air. Even a passing cat can't help but stop in its tracks and look up in anticipation.
Please have some food. Who knows? Maybe you'll feel better after eating something delicious.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Wait, so as long as you pass the check, you can pretty much do anything? And it won't be seen as absurd?
Oh, thank you. You were right. This food really did make me feel better.
So, what had you so worried earlier? Could you tell us a bit more about it?
Okay, let me fill you in. A horde of monsters suddenly appeared near the capital recently, so all the guards were dispatched to fight them.
Do you remember when those monsters appeared?
I'm not completely sure. All I know is that my husband was dispatched to fight them 3 days ago.
Do you know where he was sent?
It all happened so fast. When we said our goodbyes, he couldn't even tell me where they were sending him.
You have our thanks, friend. We'll find and defeat those monsters as soon as possible. We sincerely hope your husband will be able to return to your side soon.
Oh, thank you.
Don't worry. We'll find him. Just try to remain optimistic and wait for good news. We don't always get to choose what happens to us. But we do get to choose the little things like what we eat and how we respond to the things life throws our way. I hope that one day, you too will recognize the power of something as small and inconsequential as a delicious dessert.
I'll do my best. You bid farewell to the woman and continue your journey further into the city. As you venture further into the city, the streets appear largely empty. An elderly woman walks past. You see her shake her head as she puts away her wrinkled wallet. A nearby merchant folds his arms and gives you a disdainful look. You get the impression that he's someone who has long gotten used to the sight before him.
Although he doesn't seem very friendly, merchants are usually a good source of information, right?
Pardon me, sir. I'd like to ask a question if I may.
That depends. How much are you willing to pay?
How about this much?
What do you take me for? Some lowly beggar? You can't even buy half an onion with that amount.
Surely an onion can't be that expensive, right?
What do you know? War's nearly upon us. Everything costs several times what it did before. If you're not gonna buy anything, then scram.
Whoa, what a nasty guy. Maybe we shouldn't even bother talking to him.
But he still might have information we need. Traveler, can you think of something?
Okay, while everyone is talking, I secretly use my magic props to summon a bottle of wine without the merchant noticing. We meant no offense, sir. Here, allow me to offer you this bottle of vintage wine, made only from the finest grapes. I'll just leave it here. Please, enjoy it at your leisure. I should mention that this wine is the perfect accompaniment to a meal. I'd suggest enjoying it with dinner.
All right. Go on and ask. What do you want to know?
Do you have any information on the monsters or the crisis that has overtaken the kingdom?
Crisis? If you ask me, there's a crisis everywhere you look. Those monsters are camped outside the city, and they've been destroying all our trade routes. We have limited reserves within the city, so if this continues, we're all gonna be in big trouble.
Wait, you're saying no one has put a plan in place to distribute supplies or maintain order?
We could all starve and those nobles in the palace wouldn't even break a sweat. Who knows? Maybe they've been in cahoots with the monsters all along.
That is concerning. Thank you, sir. We won't take up any more of your time now.
Hey, why did you leave in such a hurry?
Well, you see, that bottle of wine was just a cardboard prop.
Should we try to go somewhere with more people?
Oh, how about the city square? Follow me.
Before you lies the city's central square. You see a man with a slightly anxious look on his face, pacing back and forth, his head hanging low. He doesn't seem to notice your approach. Still immersed in his own thoughts, he shakes his head and lets out a long sigh.
This guy seems promising enough. Maybe I can get some information out of him. Hello, sir. Is there anything I can do to help you?
Wait, you're...
I'm...
Oh, dear goodness! You're a Marashose hunter!
You recognize us? Are you one of the people who wrote the commission letter?
Yes! Oh, I didn't expect you to actually come. Oh, what great news! The city is saved!
What happened here?
Alas, we once lived comfortable, carefree lives. This city used to be free of monsters. The first Marashose hunter, Casiodor, the Golden Hunter, he was the one who drove them back. However, monsters have once again surrounded the city. Perhaps the seal that kept them at bay has lost its power. Or perhaps an evil sorcerer has been meddling in our affairs.
All I know for sure is that their return has stripped the city of any chance at peace.
Are there not enough soldiers to drive them out?
It's not a question of numbers. The guards simply have no idea how to deal with them. Most people my age have never even seen one of the monsters, much less been trained to fight against them. What's worse, many of us don't even know the history of the Marashose hunters anymore. When I was a child, though, my grandfather would tell me stories about how the Marashose hunters drove back the monsters. So, on the off chance that something might come of it, I decided to reach out to you. To be perfectly honest, I was starting to think all those stories were just tall tales. But now that I've seen you in person, I finally know that it was true.
Well, you can rest easy, friend. The righteous and formidable Marashose hunters are on the case.
The man is touched by your determination and resolve. His eyes begin to well with tears of relief.
Still, if we are going to hunt the monsters, we need to know where to find them. Can you give us any leads?
All I know is that the area outside the city is dangerous. I'm afraid I can't point you toward a specific location. Oh, although, if you leave the capital through the main gate and follow the road, you should run into a group of guards. They might know more about where to find the monsters.
I see. We'll go look for them then.
All right. Be careful. Oh, and one last thing. The monsters outside the city are just part of the problem. There are evil sorcerers inside the city as well, so be on your guard. They're actively working with the monsters, and have corrupted the court ministers with malicious magic. They're the reason why, even inside the city, everything has been a giant mess. Even one of our kindest ministers has turned into a boorish and unreasonable figure, interested in nothing but enacting laws that exploit the people. Who knows how much longer we'll be able to go on like this.
Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I feel bad for him. Maybe we should try to cheer him up?
Huh? Like, now? Is this really the right time?
I appreciate your kindness, but for now, it's more important to focus on the crisis at hand. Brave hunters, I leave the future of this kingdom to you.
If I understood correctly, there are currently 2 problems in the kingdom that need solving, right?
Exactly. We need to defeat the monsters outside the city and take down the evil sorcerer stirring up trouble from within.
But which problem should we tackle first?
Well, this seems like a good moment for a break. Take some time and discuss what you want to do. Let me know when you've made your decision.
I really didn't expect the people in the city to keep us at arm's length like that. I totally thought the hunters would be treated like heroes.
Well, Clarence said the script took cues from the real history of Fontaine, right? Maybe the real-life Marashose hunters were also treated like that.
I wouldn't say it's a perfect representation of history, but there are definitely some similarities. Would you like to hear more about it?
Sure. As long as it doesn't spoil anything in the script. You brought up bits and pieces of the hunter's history before, but it was all in passing.
Paimon wants to know too! The hunters were super powerful, right? Were they all from a special line of supernatural beings or something? Kind of like the yokai in Inazuma?
No. All Marashose hunters were ordinary mortal fighters. The only thing that set them apart were the special sword techniques passed down over the centuries.
Huh? So you mean anyone could become a Marashose hunter?
In theory, yes. All you would need to do is survive the rigorous training and master the swordsmanship techniques required to fight the monsters. Still, most people dropped out at the early stages, and others called it quits the minute they saw a monster in person. To become a hunter, you must be strong in both body and mind.
What kind of monsters did the hunters fight exactly? Oh, and the evil sorcerer the script mentions. Did they exist in real life too?
The land of Fontaine once played host to an ancient dynasty known as Remuria. After that dynasty fell, monsters began to appear, intent on obstructing humans from establishing a new social order. One of the ancient sorcerers of Remuria used his power to assemble a formidable army of golems. He sought to use that force to establish himself as king.
Now wait a second. Don't tell me that guy was the inspiration for the evil sorcerer in the script. We still haven't found any in-game information on him yet. So, why don't you talk about someone else for now?
Well, I wasn't planning on going into anything you might be able to find out in the game. But if you want me to talk about something else, then... How about Casiodor, the Golden Hunter? Or Egeria, the ex-Hydro Archon?
Wait, but those people are all from a super long time ago. Where did you learn all this, Claran?
From my master.
Huh. By master, you mean Miss Petronia?
Is someone you know?
Absolutely. Miss Petronia and my father were good friends. Back in the day, she would often bring Clorand over to play, but then...
Let's not get off topic. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Responding to Egeria's call, a number of warriors followed Casiodor into battle against the monsters. This group of warriors, under Casiodor's leadership, became known as the Marachose Hunters. Yet, as Fontaine entered an era of peace, their work gradually became obsolete. The Marachose Phantom, originally an association made up of hunters, eventually came to be predominantly comprised of Melusines.
Ah, I see. That explains why most of the people in the script have forgotten the hunters or think of them as nothing more than a legend.
Is that really a bad thing, though? It can get tough always being the one shouldering everyone's expectations.
Depends on who you ask, I suppose. If the name of the organization no longer commands respect, investigative work is bound to suffer.
Speaking of investigations, which problem should we tackle first? Monsters or evil sorcerer?
I vote monsters. That's the main duty of the hunters, right? We can come back to the sorcerer later.
Well said, Miss Farina. Plus, if the sorcerers really are the masterminds behind this whole thing, defeating the monsters could give us some clues on their intentions as well.
What about you, partner? What do you think? It's decided then.
All right. After some discussion, you decide to turn around and head out of the city.
Let's take a look around, like that guy said.
You there! Outsiders, halt!
Who's there?
An armored man approaches you. He has a tall, muscular build and a determined expression in his eyes. Just one look, and you can tell he's fought in his fair share of battles. Although he's trying his best to conceal his current state, his uneven gait and the sweat dripping down his forehead make it obvious that he's been wounded and is in serious pain. I'm the captain of the guard. I saw you sneaking around the city earlier, so I'll only ask this once. State your purpose, or it's off to the dungeons for the lot of you.
Wow, it's been a while since someone's been this suspicious of us.
I said talk, not whisper between yourselves.
Have you ever heard of the Marachose Hunters?
Marachose Hunters? Ha! That fairy tale, you mean? What, you expect me to believe you're one of them?
Sir, we were indeed in the city earlier, but our purpose was only to gather information on the monsters. We're here to help the city and all the people within it. Your guards are still fighting the monsters as we speak. They could be seriously wounded and in grave need of support. You need all the help you can get.
The man regards you with doubt and concern. After a period of inner struggle, he lets out a long sigh and informs you of the locations where the monsters have appeared.
Those monsters aren't easy to deal with. But if you insist on going, I won't stop you either. I just hope all the guards will be able to come back to their families alive. I wish you the best of luck.
Based on what the captain said, the monster should be right up ahead. Let's go. Hopefully we're not too late.
As you approach the battlefield, you see numerous people lying by the side of the road. They appear to be dressed like guards. Their faces are filled with desperation and terror. Some are screaming and cursing in vain, as if still trying to banish the monstrosities they saw from their minds. A few of the wounded look up at you in shock and disbelief.
Quick, leave this place. Turn around and don't look back,
they yell.
This is the place he mentioned, right?
You see broken iron swords scattered all around you, and downed trees riddled with terrifying claw marks. All the signs point to one thing. A truly devastating battle just took place here.
Be on your guard, everyone. The monsters might still be around.
Before you can finish your sentence, you hear rustling sounds from the surrounding bushes. The monsters have emerged. They close in on you without fear. You get the impression that, in their bloodthirsty eyes, you're just another meal for them to devour.
A little help here! This thing wants to eat Paimon!
Your battle round begins now.
With rocks.
Let's get this show on the road.
Let the world collide! Shake! Feeling lucky!
The next battle round begins now.
Now disappear!
Shower me with praise! Starball! This one's got your name on it! Hey there! A proper send-off from the Spina with love.
And voila!
How brilliant! Drop! Feeling lucky?
The monsters let out a terrifying roar of anger and resentment before dissipating into thin air.
Oh, thank goodness it's over.
We're lucky the Marashose Hunter class came with all those preset skill points. Otherwise, we would have been in some real trouble.
I never knew the Fatometer even determines the amount of damage you inflict. If you get unlucky, isn't it just game over right then and there?
That's part of the fun. The uncertainty of fate is what gives these games their appeal.
Just as you begin to celebrate your victory, a suspicious lump on the ground catches your attention.
A suspicious lump? Wait, could it be the thing that appears after every battle?
I walk up to it, crouch down, and begin to carefully examine it. I've still got my right glove on, so it should be fine for me to touch it, right?
As you investigate the mound, you discover that the exposed portion appears to be made of wood. It was previously obscured by the large form of the monsters. With the monsters gone, the small protrusion now awaits your discovery, poking out of the ground like a shy flower bud.
Whoa, it's a treasure chest!
With everyone's help, you successfully excavate the wooden chest from the ground. Even without opening it, you can tell from the mora and jewels scattered around the chest that it must contain quite the fortune.
Makes sense. We worked hard for this. Let's open it and we can share what's inside.
I can understand your excitement, Paimon, but think about it. Doesn't it seem like there are people out there who need this treasure more than us?
Yeah. Think about all the people suffering in the capital. Or all those guards who got hurt fighting the monsters. Wouldn't it be better if we gave the treasure to them?
Wait, is that how it works? Paimon thought since we were the ones to dig it up, we could just take it for ourselves.
Well, let's put it this way. Any decision you make during a role-playing game can impact the future course of the story.
But would the people really believe us? It's hard enough for us to prove we're Marchese hunters. What if they think we procured the treasure illegally? They might get even more suspicious of us.
That's definitely something we should consider. Maybe we can come up with an explanation in advance.
Well, if donating it could cause that much trouble, why don't we use it to buy some gear and fill up on good food? Then we'll be ready to fight even more bad guys.
Looks like you're facing a difficult choice once again. Well, it's getting late. Why don't we call it a day for now?
Wow! Where did the time go?
I'm not sure if it's because I'm having so much fun with you all or because the story is particularly enticing, but I feel like I could almost keep going.
Here, here. Ooh, how about we play through the night?
I'm not sure I'll have enough energy for that.
Yeah, that won't work for me either. Lynette will give me an earful if I get home too late.
I understand how you feel, Navia, but we have to change venues for the next part of the story anyway.
Huh? Another location?
Mm-hmm. There's a special note for the GM at the end of this section that says to proceed to an indoor set for the next part of the script.
Whoa! They really pulled out all the stops for this new script.
Well, even if we end the game for the day, we can still stay a little longer and hear Cloran finish her story, right? Paimon wants to hear more about the history of the hunters.
Something tells me you just want to finish the free desserts before we break for the day.
That's just a coincidence, okay? Besides, to Paimon, not finishing free food feels even worse than having to buy her own. And anyway, Paimon really does want to hear more about Cloran's master.
Well...
It's nothing. I appreciate the concern, but it's all in the past. It won't do any harm to share these things now. My earliest memories are of living with Master. According to her, she saved me from certain people of ill repute. My birth parents had left me behind some time before that.
What a heavy beginning for a life story.
Master was a fascinating individual, if inexperienced in the ways of raising children. My first ever toy was a short sword. Although I suppose it wasn't so much a toy as something Master removed from her waist and handed to a noisy child in need of distraction.
Oh wait, so she handed an actual sword to a child? Isn't that dangerous? Did you hurt yourself?
Of course I did. I cut my palm and bled quite a lot. But Master was not concerned. She just stood there and casually lectured me about it. See, that's what you get for not holding the sword properly, she told me. She then crouched down next to me and said, "Give me your hand. I'll teach you to bandage this wound. After that, it's time to learn how to truly hold a blade."
Excuse me for asking this, Clorand, but how old were you exactly when all this happened?
Probably around, 3, give or take.
3? Isn't that when most kids are still struggling to hold a fork?
As I said, Master was rather inexperienced in the ways of raising children. She believed trial and error was the best way to teach a child what they're capable of.
I'm not so sure this is a question of experience.
I didn't see anything wrong with her ways at the time. And anyway, children don't get to choose how they're raised. Oh, she did bring me back a pet from Liyue once. It was a Geovishap hatchling.
A Geovishap hatchling? For a pet? That seems even more dangerous.
What she said was this: make sure to get along, you two. If you really can't agree on something, just settle it with a fight. Whoever loses is the real pet.
And how old were you when this happened?
5.
Well, did you win?
No, I lost.
So you're saying you actually became the Geovishap's pet?
Yes, but only for a week. By the end of that week, I defeated it in combat, and we've shared a cordial relationship ever since.
That really doesn't sound like the kind of childhood someone should have.
Later on, I gradually understood that Master most likely didn't know any other way to raise a child. She was a Marachose hunter, but I never heard her bring up her own parents. Thanks to her, I learned how to navigate the forest by the age of 6, and could hunt monsters in the wild by myself the year after that. Even though the training she subjected me to was strict, she always made sure to take me traveling when she had the time. We met many of her friends during those days. That was also how I met Mr. Callis and his family.
I still remember the first time we met. You were too scared to join our picnic and hid behind Ms. Petronia the whole time.
I still hadn't really met many children my age at that time, so I didn't know how to interact with others.
After that, though, you started coming over a lot. You loved challenging people to shooting competitions, remember? I don't think many members of the Spina ever beat you in one of those.
I had a lot of fun during those days.
I enjoyed them too. Oh, do you remember that one time we went exploring around the Spina together? We overheard Papa call your master Fontaine's Protector of Justice. We tried to pretend like we never heard anything, but you nearly let it slip that one time.
Protector of Justice? Oh, wait, you mean that vigilante hero from 20 years ago? The one who was always active at night?
Yep, that would be her. She often would put on a black cloak and go out at night. I never knew where she went or what she was doing. Until, like Navia said, we overheard the truth from Mr. Callis that night.
20 years ago, huh? I still remember the guards leaving all kinds of witness reports about her on Nervalette's desk.
My apologies.
Oh, there's no need to apologize. You had nothing to do with it. And anyway, everything she did was for a good cause. Although, calling herself the Protector of Order was a bit much. Especially when she deliberately operated outside the law.
Huh? When did the Protector of Justice become the Protector of Order?
Oh, she had a bunch of code names. I heard she would just come up with a name on the spot whenever she was asked. Later on, she probably got sick of answering those questions and decided to stick to just 2. The Protector of Justice and the Protector of Order.
That sounds like her, all right. I bet she forgot which of the 2 she'd use by the time she got back each night.
Well, she certainly sounds like a fascinating individual. With her strong sense of justice, it's no surprise her student followed in her footsteps.
It's true. I always wanted to become like her. Someone powerful, independent, and with a strong sense of conviction. But... She suddenly disappeared the night I turned 10 years old.
Disappeared? What happened?
I have no idea. She didn't even leave a note. I was never able to find out where she went. That night, I was celebrating my birthday at Navia's house. But Master never came to pick me up. When I returned home on my own, it was to an empty house. When she still didn't appear after a few days, I went to Mr. Callus's house to ask about her whereabouts. But he only shook his head.
Papa probably didn't know either. I know he sent a few people to investigate the matter in secret, but they never found any credible leads.
Don't worry, I understand. To be perfectly honest, given Master's personality and way of doing things, it all made a lot of sense. If I had to guess, I'd say she probably used it as an opportunity to force me to become independent. Just like how, when a litter of kittens reaches a certain age, the mother willingly leaves them behind.
Were you upset, Clorand?
I was at first, but not anymore. I don't believe Master would suddenly disappear for no reason. There must have been something she just had to do.
Well, despite everything, you still managed to follow in her footsteps and become the greatest champion duelist in all of Fontaine. You're practically a living symbol of law and justice.
I suspect my position would be far too by the books for her. Master always did whatever she pleased. But you're right. I suppose I do take after her in some ways.
Who knew Clorand had such an interesting past? I never had the chance to ask her about it before. And I wonder, if Clorand's master were the champion duelist back then, would that duel against Mr. Callus have gone differently? Oh no. Judging by the atmosphere, Clorand and Navia are probably thinking something similar. The mood just got super awkward all of a sudden.
Well, anyway. Would you look at the time? It's getting dark, so we should probably call it a day for real this time. If we keep talking like this, we really will be here all night.
I had a great time today, Miss Clorand. Thank you for being our GM.
Anytime.
The script was good, but I've got to say, your childhood stories were even better. Hey, you should tell us more about that fight against the Geo-Bishop sometime. Maybe your master was onto something.
You could be right.
What does she mean, onto something? I certainly don't know any 5-year-olds who want to fight a bishop in their spare time. Guess I'll head back as well. I need to save my energy if I want to continue enjoying the story tomorrow.
You're that excited to hear about my fight with the bishop?
I was talking about the script.